The highly anticipated White House meeting between US President Donald Trump and New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani was expected to be tense, even explosive. But instead, the two men delivered a surprisingly warm display of political restraint, mutual praise, and carefully managed optics. We break down how Trump effectively steered the meeting, diffused every confrontation, and set the tone moment by moment.
Well, thank you very much. We've just had a great meeting, a really good, very productive meeting. We have one thing in common. We want this city of ours that we love to do very well. And I wanted to congratulate the mayor. He really ran an incredible race against, a lot of smart people, starting with the early primaries against some very tough people, very smart people.
From the start, Trump positioned himself as the senior partner extending goodwill to a rising political rival. Calling Mamdani's run incredible and praising him for defeating very tough people, Trump neutralized the hostility of the campaign season. He also highlighted an unlikely overlap that some Trump voters supported Mamdani, echoing the mayor-elect's own anecdote, 1 in 10. This created a shared New York identity that Trump used repeatedly to soften the conversation and signal cooperation.
I think I met with a man who's a very rational person. I met with a man who really wants to see New York be great again. And I can say again, because New York was great. When I came down to Washington initially, the city was so hot. It was doing great. We were having some telltale signs of problems. We had a mayor that was not doing a great job, but still, it was moving along. And it went bad. It really went, pretty bad. And I think it's been at lower points, but it went pretty bad. I think he can bring it back. Now the question is, will he bring it back all the way?
When conservative critics warned that billionaires would flee Mamdani's New York, Trump rejected the narrative.
Do you feel comfortable living in New York City under a Mamdani administration?
Yeah, I would. I really would. Especially after the meeting. Absolutely.
What makes you comfortable?
We agree on a lot more than I would have thought. I think I want him to do a great job, and we'll help him do a great job. He may have different views, but in many ways, we were discussing when Bernie Sanders was out of the race, I picked up a lot of his votes, and people had no idea.
He went further, saying he would absolutely live in Mamdani's New York and believed the mayor-elect will surprise conservatives. This allowed Trump to appear above partisan alarmism while subtly positioning himself as a stabilizing voice. For Mamdani, it was a symbolic validation from a president who once called him a communist lunatic.
And I want to clarify your answer to Stephen Nelson. He asked about your comment calling the president a fascist, and your answer was, both President Trump and I have been clear about our positions and our views. Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay, you can just say yes.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's easier.
Yes.
It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
This was the moment most expected to erupt. Mamdani had, in the past, called Trump a despot, authoritarian, and even a fascist. But Trump flipped the script. He invited the insult, patted Mamdani on the arm, and joked that he had been called much worse. This disarmed the exchange completely and made Trump appear gracious, almost protective of the younger politician. It was Trump's most strategically effective moment, turning a potentially damaging attack into a light-hearted exchange that made the room laugh and left Mamdani flustered but smiling.
Question for you, but a very quick one for the mayor. Why did you fly here? Aren't trains greener?
I'll use every form of transit, and I want to make sure that they're all affordable in New York City, and that's why making buses fast and free is a centerpiece of our campaign.
There is a bus that goes...
Well, but I know, but if he flew, that's a lot quicker, too. He's working very hard. For him to be, that's a very long drive. I'll stick up for you. The plane takes you 30 minutes, and driving takes you a long.
When a conservative reporter tried to corner Mamdani for flying instead of taking a climate-friendly train, Trump again intervened. He defended Mamdani's choice, framing it as practical, not hypocritical. In doing so, Trump presented himself as a pragmatic problem solver and subtly contrasted himself with his own conservative media allies.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Please.
I appreciated the meeting with the president, and as he said, it was a productive meeting focused on a place of shared admiration and love, which is New York City, and the need to deliver affordability to New Yorkers, the 8.5 million people who call our city their home, who are struggling to afford life in the most expensive city in the United States of America. We spoke about rent, we spoke about groceries, we spoke about utilities, we spoke about the different ways in which people are being pushed out, and I appreciated the time with the president, I appreciated the conversation, I look forward.
The final act of the meeting was the most unexpected, a policy partnership. Trump emphasized affordability, lower rent, cheaper groceries, reduced utility bills, and Mamdani echoed the same message. The president even suggested pressuring Edison to cut electricity rates and welcomed Mamdani's push to build more housing. For two politicians who once portrayed each other as enemies, this shift was remarkable. Trump closed the meeting with a line that captured the overall tone.
What makes you comfortable?
We agree on a lot more than I would have thought. I think I want him to do a great job, and we'll help him do a great job.
Ultimately, Trump won the optics of the day by setting the tone, diffusing every confrontation and softening Mamdani's sharper past criticisms without appearing hostile or defensive. The result was a meeting that rewrote expectations, turning political adversaries into temporary partners and showing a president keen to project confidence, composure, and control.
We agree on a lot more than I would have thought. I want him to do a good job, and we'll help him do a good job. He may have different views, but in many ways, we were discussing when Bernie Sanders was out of the race. I picked up a lot of his votes, and people had no idea because he was strong on not getting ripped off the train and lots of other things that I did not understand. He was very successful on tariffs, things. Bernie Sanders and I agreed on much more than people thought. And when he was put out of the race, I think quite unfair. Many of the Bernie Sanders voters voted for me. And I felt very comfortable finally to see all this that just turned out to be just very statistical. But I feel very comfortable. I would feel very, very comfortable living in New York, and I think much more so after the meeting yesterday.